Hello, and welcome to Steel Division 2, and welcome to Game 10 between babaryann playing 2nd US, and, here we go, Homa playing 715th Maverick. Yeah, so, let's jump right into the battle. And 2nd US versus one of the new divisions in the Men of Steel DLC, 715th Infantry. 715th Infantry, it is kind of interesting, particularly in this matchup. 2nd US is definitely faster than it. We see lots of M8s coming forward. Not sure if I'm too much of a fan of them in this particular position, but they're going to get to their positions before all these MGs and stuff. Although, just up in the north, a bunch of MGs and a single IG-18. Like, you gotta know that there's going to be some kind of armor there, no? Which would be able to clear up all these things, which wouldn't be very great. But Babar choosing not here to use the speed of 2nd US to really push any advantages, and is just going to let them sit here. The M8s, unvetted M8s, also an interesting choice. They do start getting shots on it. The Octa does manage to fall back behind that position there. As a couple of Luftwaffe Jäger and Panzergrenadiers move forward. Ace-42's excellent little autocars here. We're going to force off these Rangers LMG. The M4105 is going to get some good shots on, but there's an early Tiger coming in, and the early Tiger, if that gets on target, will be able to take that out no problem. Double flamer units in here. Rangers are probably one of the better CQC units that 2nd US gets, just because of the most recently added commando trait, and their DPS isn't bad. But other than that, just like a Sturmpioneer squad with the added benefit of the veterancy. So, yep, and you get less availability of them in B phase as well. Tiger coming in. M4105's got to do the backing up. Surprisingly, the M2, so the 50 cal here, does actually get pinned down. I guess these MGs are doing a good job, and there has been enough armor or anything to take advantage of all these disheartened units. Like, if he had brought an infantry up real close, he would have already been deep into this town, which would have been really hard to knock him out. But M5A1's coming in here. Oop, this M1 gun. He's got to get some good shots on here. Might actually take out this AS-42, which would be huge. Yeah, there goes the 20 support. He took them in double that for some reason. And, well, the 50 cal is great. The Panzergrenadiers, yeah, but the MG34s aren't going to be able to pin that down, no problem. Together with the Luftwaffe zum Befehlung or something. I can't quite remember what the ZBV means, but now he's pushed out some of this infantry here. Just the Rangers LMG left, the M5A1, and the M1 gun. You might actually have to be really careful with these Rangers Brothers don't go down, because if you do lose this like entrance to the town position, it is actually really hard to get through. And he's actually cut the Bofors in already there while not having enough stuff to deal with it. He's bringing in an M10 for that Tiger, as the M8 still causes some havoc on the board, but no real infantry to take advantage of the fight so far. That effect is going to get up there and see if I can take out that M4A3 or the M8, which is now going to be moving around the top. Yeah. So, 715th versus one of the better divisions, like, overall in the game. It's kind of a toss-up because all the divisions in Men of Steel, as with every time a new DLC comes out, it's like, oh, they're so overpowered. But I think 715th is probably one of the ones that aren't necessarily too bad, but they do certainly still have just a ton of things that make them really strong. One of them is these P40s. They get, I think, 6 of them in the early phase of the game. The M10's now out of APCR, but you get 6 of them at 1 vet, I do believe, and he has brought them in at 1 vet, and 90 pen with 75 armor, so this is like, we're talking T-34 here with a slightly weaker gun, and it's still 10 points cheaper, right? Like, I don't quite understand that. This can still kill Shermans just fine, and like, is 10 millimeters of armor or of penetration really that big of a difference to like justify the 10-point cost difference? But yeah, now the P40 here, and these P40s, like, they can also kill the M10s, no problem. So definitely Babar has to be careful of that. But over here, I missed something to go down. That's unfortunate. Ooh, it's the M4A3 does get an important snipe on that AS-42 in there. Now The M8, ooh, getting side shots, but he just might bring it out. And the Rangers have advanced all the way forwards. If you do double team them with the Pioneers here, they will, of course, win against the flamethrower units because one of the 2T units will fire while the other one doesn't. The recon did go down in the town here, and the infantry have pushed forward now. The sniper doing a good job to hold things out as the GMC goes down, and now the Tiger is dueling against these M10s, and once again the M10 has missed its first APCR shot and is actually like facing side armor for some reason. And actually they're both at APCR now, so the Tigers are going to be able to clean this up no problem, which would be really bad because these are the only units that are going to be able to fight them. The M10 does still have AP, 130 millimeters, versus 125 armor, right? It is possible to pen this, but at this kind of a distance, like, there's still penetration drop-off. And despite the rate of fire benefit that the M10s did get, and now he's, like, moving them sideways again, takes a direct hit, misses again because he's on the move. Yeah, it's like two times the 80 points for that are going to go down now, and he's just completely lost the center position, or the southern position. Yep, exactly what I said would happen. One of the Pioneers completely tanked all the damage of the Rangers, and the other Pioneer then managed to get its AT on fire. And really, these M3 and 5A1s should have been here a lot longer ago if he really wanted to push on that. And now the Rangers LMGs might be able to finish off the G18 if he does manage to micro property, but Homayoon is just going to be able to pull that back. Yep, but now the M4 was likely wanted to be like in this position, just hiding from there. But Pack 40 set up Tiger now. Ranger T30 is coming in trying to deal with some of this infantry, but it's a little bit too late now. Rifles leader goes down. Second, another flag that'll bring it back to the 12-12, and we'll have to see if Babar can really put the pressure on here. He still got this flamethrower and the 50 cal there. Surprised that the flamethrower doesn't get spotted, but actually, I'm pretty sure. Alright, Homayoon. Oh, he doesn't see the AT gun. That's funny. Yeah, now finally spotted there. Flamethrower is going to get taken out, which is huge. But you can always bring in the flamethrower to this church and have view range pretty much all over this advanced position, as long as you manage to hold on to that church. But yeah, now even. Puts a good idea here. Potentially spotting, or maybe the M1 gun just fired at some point. And so that's going to go down to the P40. And another thing about the P40, right, that makes it better than T34, it's got 750 meters of range, right? So this thing actually outranges Sherman's at T34s. It's still 10 points cheaper. I think the T34 at 1944, 1943, the one with lower armor, it might be the 1943 version. It still costs like 55 points, right? With the 1942 version with the high amount of armor costing 60 points. So this thing's just like cheap as hell, which seems to have been the trend for that division. Luftwaffe Jäger zum Befehl hier. Gonna take out those Rangers Marauders, which stupidly revealed themselves trying to get forward into a sneak position to snipe something. But Fusilier coming in now. Not a ton of recon in this division. But now he's just gonna be able to see everything. He's puts it on return fire. And this Tiger, if he's careful with it, will be able to take out the rest of it. Pack 38 desperately running from the Rangers LMG, which, you know, they'll still be able to deal with it. It'll just take a little bit. That their Brownings there. Great little squad with the commando trait, but not actually that powerful because commando doesn't actually take effect. At least the damage reduction doesn't take effect, supposedly, unless you're in like 150 meters. So for the Rangers LMGs, or 180 meters, sorry. So for the Rangers LMG, really the only benefit is the suppression loss, which ends up hurting you more than it helps you. Because while they never get suppressed, they've only got 6 health, which means they're dying anyway. And now Pack 40 coming in here, trying to snipe this M4A1 as well, while the Pentagon units are moving forward. This infantry is just charging forward. All that light armor's gone down over here. And, yeah. Now we're into Phase B. See a bunch of engineers coming in with the 50 cal half tracks. Surprised we didn't see 50 cal half tracks earlier, but you know how it is. P40 take out that lighter vehicle. I think he's gonna have like a great rate of fire too. It is just 7 rounds a minute, so comparable with like a Sherman or something. But Tiger takes out the heat throwing thing, and now there's just a single Rangers LMGs, which, despite this disheartened infantry, one of them's gonna get the T on target, and that's all. TNT on target, and that's all that's needed. It will go down, and now these engineers over here, without any tank support, is going to get kind of iffy, right? One of the things that 2nd US relies on, more so than any other division, is its combined armed warfare, really. And now he does have a great position in the center here. But 715th, one of its quote-unquote weaknesses, as it happens with this DLC, is that it lacks like proper CQC units, and that means it lacks particularly flamers. But like disheartened 50-point pioneers that you can spam, and the Decima like recon units that also have TNT. Like, yeah, sure, SMG units aren't that efficient, but they're still efficient enough that if you get a big enough blob of them, they'll perform just fine. And now even down in the south here, the Rangers completely out of position, get caught out in the open. No smoke being used there, as the Luftwaffe are not going to be able to push into this position, which is usually a position that you can safely get into. He's got our Rangers all the way back here for some reason. Yes, intending to reinforce this area, but as long as this Tiger's here cutting off this road, together with this 2 soft cloud, we should be able to see any trucks trying to come in. You'll have to bring them all the way back here and march your units through the forest, which just makes defending this a little bit harder, especially now that your opponent now has the reinforcements roads, comes in and like drives tanks over here and stuff, and you can just sit something over here and you can't even get to the flag, right? So, but P-47 coming in for that Tiger. I wonder if he sees it. There is no AA. Another one of the weaknesses of this division is the little amount of AA. It does fall back just in time. It was probably being spotted by this rifles early at 50 cal. So P-47 not going to be able to get on top of that. Flamethrower coming in. It looks like the other Pioneer traded with like the low health Pioneer. Not amazing. This 50 cal desperately trying to surrender, and does actually have to get the surrender on the IG-33, which is pretty big. But now double Stugs coming in. Focke-Wulf coming in for that P-47, which didn't manage to get its gun run on. And there's just a big gaping hole down south here, as Babar has not even like sent in an HE unit or anything to come defend this, which is an interesting choice to be certain. He's probably going to be trying to put some pressure on this side, which is also kind of falling apart in my opinion. If they're going to get in here though, should be able to beat that Pioneer. Interesting to move the Rangers in. Like, where's the armored support, right? Finally, a Hellcat comes in. The Hellcat, you got to be kind of careful with them though, and quite honestly, you got to move them in packs. Like a P-40 here, these things, despite being like dinky little medium tanks, right? Dinky little light tanks. This little thing still has 10 health per the games, right? Because it's listed as medium tank. And the Hellcat only has 8 health. So, like, you look at the damage, 8 damage. The Hellcat needs 2 shots. The P-40 only needs to get 1 shot. So always take your Hellcats in pairs, and then when you are like moving them, make sure you're microing them in and out of behind cover, and only use them in an ambush position. More so than any other unit, right? The Hellcats need to be used in ambush, which I would generally recommend for tank destroyers of all types. Yeah. But over here, yeah, one of the downsides is that on Tannenberg, when you've got the superior CQC infantry, there's usually only 1 or 2 flags you can actually push to get it. On this side, it's even harder because you can just sit like a single Panzergren over here or something with high DPS at like the medium range, or even like a tank, right? And the CQC units can't move forward without smoke. Over here on this side, it's a little bit easier. But these back flags, they're complete like farces to try and catch, just because there's absolutely no way you could actually like project AA efficiently over these areas. Thankfully though, for Babar, the bomber didn't actually manage to kill the Rangers, so he's back on a 1410 and a 1311 as the P-47 does manage to come in and kill something. Boom, 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 boom. And nope, that's a GMC truck. I wonder what he killed. That's a Hellcat. Something. Oh well. I guess one of the benefits of this map, though, this man is beautiful sometimes. Back 40 behind the house. Great little position there. Really neat thing about these houses is you've got like sometimes light of sight between them. So if you move your pack gun around them, right, like you see it, what's happening here, you could actually like poke it in between the houses and start taking on units. But yeah, I'm really surprised that there's been nothing to try and retake these flags here. Back up north, though. Homayoon's still putting on the pressure here. The Hellcat is rushing around, but yeah, it's still not got any friends. Now firing HE. It got its APCR turned off. Over's going to be able to force off the fucker wolf. And really, the recon here is just completely one-sided, right? In second US, you don't get a lot of recon, but you do get 2-star Rangers Marauders, which you're forced to bring in at 2 stars, which is the best, probably one of the best units that you can bring in. Occasionally, you got like the other stuff as well. What's it called? Like scouts or something in B phase that you do see. But generally, the Rangers Marauders do a good enough job. But because you have to use them as like your bazooka support as well, they often go down. And the Tiger didn't even die to the APCR here, even though it took 2 shots. The other might have missed. Ranger T-30 trying to clear out this Panzergren. And now the Decima are actually coming in from the side in here to try and cut it off. That's funny. He's actually just got the 3 recon units, which don't actually like exert influence over anything. And then the Panzer Grenadier to like follow it up so that the front line doesn't just completely collapse. And now Tiger coming in down here as well. Ay. I'm not sure what he's expecting to do with his Ranger, being that it's a completely long-range engagement so far. Probably wants to get those howitzers back up and running, and to kind of get something to kill this Tiger, right? M5 cut over here, maybe, or have not let those M10s die. You need to bring in support with them, and so I think second US is one of my like most supply-heavy decks, where I almost take like 3 cards of supply, just because of that's how important it is in this deck in particular. And really all American deck, because even in like third US, if you want to stand any chance against these Tigers and stuff like that, you got to bring M10s in, and you got to bring them in supply, because as soon as they shoot 1 shot, you want them reloading their APCR, so that by the time they fire their second APCR shot, they've reloaded the first and continue firing APCR, in which case the rate of fire and such will win out against the Tigers. But in this case, like, the Hellcats are coming in one by one versus tanks that can one-shot them. He's not bringing them in pairs, right? He's not bringing in them with, like, supply or anything, so there's no APCR either. And there's like a Pack 38 looking down this road that'll be able to just kill everything. I'm pretty sure it's even like in a building or something here. Really bad. But you never know how it was. Babar, quite a good player in my opinion, but now these Exploratory coming in. Panzer Grenadiers to cover the front line. If they do manage to, if the Panzer Grenadier doesn't manage to get to about here, it'll just completely collapse the front line and 2 units will come back. And now we see the Decima Exploratory, 8 Berettas, and Commando. What? I swear to God, Gonzo's been lying to me again. Oh man, 715th, it doesn't have that great of an infantry, and then they just got Commando Beretta squads. What? What? Are there like regular Decima also commandos? I don't think we've actually seen one in this game so far, but like, Jesus Christ, it's just a commando spam DLC. Sorry, getting a bit salty here. As another Hellcat goes down. T-30 is probably going to be unable to kill that Tiger with his little dinky heat shell. He goes down as well. You're just running for the Rangers. I guess these do have Raiders. No, they just got Commando. So they're not even that good. Border providing smoke fire. T-47 does manage to get the kill on that Tiger. Now the Rangers versus the Decima. Yeah, like, in what world are, like, is this not just, like, amazing CQC infantry? What? I don't get it. Whatever. I guess that's that. Second Rangers did clean up the Decima that was there. And now you get an engineer against here. And the engineers are fairly good against the Decima, I do suppose. Because the engineers, it's just TNT versus TNT. I guess they do trade their TNT, so they're like the most efficient ever. Why the hell are these 25 points? What on earth? I'm pretty sure like the 6 health Beretta squad without TNT was 25 points in 4th Fallschirmjäger. And that's still considered a really good unit, especially to bring out for like CQC purposes in A phase. But 4th Fallschirmjäger does actually somewhat lacks CQC in that case. But no, these are just amazing units. I don't know. And now this Panzergrenadier coming in, he's going to be able to secure another flag over here. And Homayoon has just been able to keep, like, despite the flags in the middle here, constant pressure on Babar throughout the entire game. As the Infantry, because they've got Commando, they actually tank the freaking TNT to the phase versus the Engineers. Of course they do. Reconnecting up the front line with this half-track. P-40 still hasn't died right now to the infantry of 2nd U.S., which is why it relies on combined arms so heavily. It does have, like, AT or something. So you really got to bring in tanks to help deal with that. Artillery commander coming in for the Bofors. Rangers coming in. Rangers Marauders trying to move forward, so they'll probably kill that P-40. But this P-40 has already paid itself off, like, 5 times over. Oh, man. I know, more Engineers and Rifles Lake coming in. Has, yeah, there's just been a big gaping hole split open. Did manage to retake this flag somehow. But, yeah. Like, if you just bring in a supply truck, right, for this M1 gun. Jeez, I guess there's a place really to put it, but you could move the M1 gun back, supply it, and move it forward to kill the Tiger. You need to open this up somehow. And now there is still the pack gun over here and the pack gun over here. But quite honestly, like, with a little bit of smart play, you could save up, like, 4 half-track units, potentially once we get into Phase C here, though both players are on Maverick. Something like the Demolition Squad, but you can get, like, the Engineers, or, like, Rifles Early could be put in the half-tracks instead of the Engineers. You bring in the Engineers, 4 half-tracks, 50 cal half-tracks, save that up, that's 100 points a units. Get your mortars out, your 60mm mortars. And then, like, I'm pretty sure the Rangers Marauders see this, so you smoke that one off after you've killed the Tiger with the M5 gun. And then you basically just bum rush it. Just go for it, right? Go wide and go hard. You've then got like a minute after this singular Tiger dies to go clean up these units. And what you have to do is you're gonna have to smoke this pack off. And like, let's take a look at what Babar has bringing in here. So he sees the Pack 40, right? He sees the IG-33. He sees the Tiger. And let's pretend I'm playing here for a second as the fight's going on here. That's gonna go down. He's gonna retake all this, but the M8's gonna go down now.
Be advised.
So yeah.
Enemy sighted.
You gotta kill this thing, right? Either M10s or supply on the M5, and then once you've killed that, just bum rush.
Hit, we're all dead.
Smoke this off and bum rush half tracks. Like, you're gonna notice that there's an AT gun here at some point once it gets over there. But once you unload, right, the half track will be able to pin it down, and then you've got like free range to go for it. You gotta take risks sometimes and just go for it in those kind of cases, because like not building up a push and just hoping to out-trade units by building up a force is not going to be too particularly effective. P-47 coming in to help kill off the Infantry, as once again they have completely tanked TNT to the face, and that's not even a nuke bomber, so it doesn't even do any damage, right? They completely tanked another TNT, and this like single Decimus Infantry has now gotten at least 3 kills. Just an immense payoff there. And all these like Panzer guns over here, they've got like Panzerbix, right? And like, okay, so the Panzerbix is absolutely terrible. I think like the M3A1 half track still has like 5 health, so you need to hit him 5 times with the freaking Panzerbix at 39 to actually kill it, which is not great. And now the P-47, oh, it does actually get the shots on the Tiger, and it's gonna kill it, and the Flak 36 does manage to doesn't manage to force off the thingamajigger in time. So yeah, looks like the bomber didn't actually go off on this M5 gun, but now this mortar is desperately trying to pin down and kill these units. But like 60mm mortars, you bring them in and they're really good for suppressing units, right? Like you bring them in to support your engineers, for example, and then you like bring in 2 to 3 mortars or something, and then you fire in ahead when you realize that the front line isn't collapsing anymore when you advance your units in, right? Because if you advance your units, you can see that the front line, it actually is quite significantly affected. You can see it somewhere, I'm sure, as the unit moves forward, right? As this unit moves forward, they're like the front line moves quite a bit ahead of it until it's like pinned down, basically. And so you can notice that in green cover, where you're doing it at 100 meters, that the front line will collapse less, and then you can use your mortars to fire at these Decimal Espiratory and stuff like that, and pin them down to where then you go in with your engineers to do it. So all about combined arms and all about this kind of firepower, right? I think that, of course, the rifles, like, they do have semi-automatic rifles, making them like decent at DPS in their own right. But Tisma Spiritory, gotta get on the rifles leader and get another kill. This one's got like 2 TNT blasts as well, all gone. Almost kills another one. Might actually just like straight up finishes off. Yep, does manage to do that. M301's gonna have to come in. Like, he's bringing out more Rangers and more mortars. What is this supposed to do? Sure, you could bring in the M5 howitzers, but come on, just bring in the M5 gun. Like, the Tiger is now close enough that you can just fire at it with your normal AP. It still has APCR left. No way. What? No, it doesn't. No, that's the card. I'm done. I'm done. Sorry. Man, but like, my God. The AP, right, should still be able to pen the front of a target at that kind of a range. You can at least risk it. But yeah, now rifles late coming in. 2 of them should be able to beat the Panzergrenadier. They are within 500 meter range. All these M1 Grands are firing, and they did do like a good amount of damage there. DL-17 gets forced back, but the System Spiritory managed to finally clear up all the Rangers. That's probably the last of the Rangers. We'll see 2. Demolition Group, finally a unit that doesn't necessarily need combined arms. The only thing that it really suffers at is long range firepower, but it's got the bazooka, it's got the flamethrower. The DPS kind of sucks, and it's expensive, being the downsides. But now Panzergrenadier is rushing forward. And I'm surprised like we haven't seen any Shermans or anything. Not that it would have helped versus the dumb P40 and of course these Tigers, but yeah, just the absolute inability to deal with Tigers this game has been completely backbreaking. If he had those P47s in like A phase or something, and then with the recon in the church was able to successfully bring them in and abuse 715th lack of AA to kill the Tigers, it's possible that this entire position wouldn't have collapsed and this game would be in favor of Babar right now. But as it stands, he's been on the back foot the entire time. Plenty of support units here from Homayoon. He's just rushing units on flags and stuff like that. Right. It's pretty bad. Finally, we see a Sherman come in. Oh, there's Stug down here as well. He's got firm control in the center. And there's not a lot of control here in the north from the line either. Despite he having managed to push his way into the town, where the U.S. should kind of excel. Homayoon has managed to keep all his AT guns alive, Fusiliers, stuff like that, plenty of Panzergrens, and the balances of forces are just that much in favor of Homayoon. So, well played to Homayoon, and commiserations to Babar. But yeah, 3 minutes left on the clock. I don't think this game is going anywhere else. Just from the Maverick versus Maverick looking at the trades. And finally into Phase C, like one of the rifles light even went down there. And dual Luftwaffe Jägers here. They've even got more semi-autos than... No, they don't. They don't have more semi-automatics than the rifles early. They got more than the rifles light, though, and there's no AA over here. So you just bring in the bomber and kill him anyway. 17-7, P47 coming and trying to make it a run-in again for it. The rifles light does spot that, but the Flak 36 is actually over here already firing. And this is really awkward. It would have just been better to go in straight for it instead of like coming in awkwardly to the side, because they're just flying straight through the fire of the Flak 36 and getting really close to it. And the P47 is going to have to back off there. Babar seems to be a slight bit out of practice from the other games that I've casted of him. But, yeah. So, interesting game here. Second US getting the whooping it deserves, perhaps. And I am out of things to talk about. Yeah, so let's just speed this up here. It's basically over anyway. As I hit the pause button again. Very nice. More IG-33s coming in. Rifles late. Demolition group gonna get cleaned up. 18-6. Complete breakdown by Homayoon of second US. So, well done to him. The 60mm mortar is really not doing the jobs here. But, yeah. That's game. And that Tiger stayed alive to the very end. 2,140 kills to 3,065. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. And, Whee. Look at this kill list. Just like from basically minute 5 here, it's all blue all the way up to minute 7, which is just that backbreaking when you're fighting for flags. But thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time for game 12 in the Generals Tournament. Bye-bye.